My role as a Grand Council member, my role started at 2009, but it started before that. I was a good Catholic person. My uncle was the Grand Chief, Ben Sillaboy, but before he turned to be a Grand Chief, he went to church and all that. But with my dad family, they all went to residential school, came from residential school. My uncle Ben, my auntie Margit, and my mother. So when I started going to school and all that, my mother said, you're going to school to learn English, how to read and how to write, because I never spoke a word of English, because my father wouldn't speak English. When it was my time in Waygobah, they put me as an altar boy. So I was an altar boy since I was, I'm going to say 10 years old, 11 years old, 11 years old till I was 19, and I'm still doing altar serving and all that, and I still go to church and all that with the Grand Council, and then I started doing my traditional stuff, and a traditionalist died from our area. They put me as the Grand Council to be traditional, and plus Catholics too. So that's since 2001, and now my other years I've been serving people, their spiritual help. You got to listen to people, what people need, and see what we need, and see if it helps, you know. So you got to be fair, but you cannot promise. But you have to do what we can do. And it's like, if you want to talk to me, we'll talk as, how can you help me? How can we help each other, really? And that's what I believe. I'm always helping people if they come and see me. My father was living that time. He was the same kind of a mentor. Then we became carpenters, how to nail stuff, how to chop wood, how to carry wood. You know, we all started like with nothing. We never had a washroom at our house or running water. So later on, my father said, let's dig a trench to the brook. And that was the first time we had running water. So 5 years we didn't have any, even electricity at that time. But after that, we started having that, and my father said, let's put the toilet. So we put the toilet, we were plumbers. And we got a ringer washer. We didn't have to haul from the well, get water, and boil it. And they said, we're going to need a hot water tank. And then after a while, we lived in luxury. Then after a while, we heard about these automatic washers and dryers. We're in paradise now. We just put clothes in there, press a button, and we're off. I was coaching these kids when I started, when I was 16 years old, and I was teaching them how to be skaters, beginners, and all that. I went all the way up to being referees and coaches. So for me, I had to go coaching. Another thing, I had to go refereeing, so I'll know the rules while I'm coaching. So the next thing, I was doing that, and I became a bus driver. And I was a bus driver, and one of these years, a person came and see me. He said, "You would make a good teacher because I seen you how you teach hockey players, and they listen to you." And they said, okay, then I'll try it because we need language teachers, and you're very fluent. And I said, I'm fluent, but I'll tell you something. I've been going to school, but I never saw anything written in Mi'kmaq or anything like that. I had no Mi'kmaq classes, so I cannot write in Mi'kmaq or read in Mi'kmaq. So they sent me to go get trained for, God, it was weekends. It took me almost 9 years to complete it, but I completed that and to get my level 5. And professors came from other areas, like they came from Montreal all the way up to here, to CBU at that time. They came from there to teach the Mi'kmaq way, not the Mi'kmaq, the spiritual way, the traditional way, and how to teach First Nation students about their language. And so I said, I want to continue. So I've been at it since 1993 already, and it's a hard subject to learn. We need students to have a heart to be wanted to be Unmus or to know the language. I find it so sacred language because it means so different. Now, if I had to speak in Mi'kmaq, I would say better, you know, because my first language was Mi'kmaq. My first thing being a firefighter was I wanted to be a first aider because I seen people get hurt, and my mentor was Richard Phillips that time, and he patched up everybody. Everyone wants to see Richard if they get a stitch or a cut or a sprain or whatever. They go to see him, and that was my first cousin. So I admired how he helped people, how people need him. So I said, someday I'm going to be just like him. I'm going to help people as much as possible when they need it at their dearest need. Well, into ranks or anything, it's always like a ladder. You start at the bottom and try to get to the top. My training started at the bottom, and I got all the way up to the top as to become the deputy fire chief, then the fire chief, and it went up all the way up to nationals to become their Atlantic rep fire chiefs. And that took a while. It's not overnight. You do it by years and see how much people are in your departments really, and how the department is doing. One thing they were looking at my department, every time I order a fire truck, I had to order a new fire hall because my fire truck wouldn't fit in the old fire hall. So this is my third fire hall on my third truck. But it's always ranks, and people put me to highest rank because I listen to people and I help people, and I want everybody to be trained, if not more, as I am. To help people in Waygobah or people in need. In anything now, we've been doing fire, we've been doing medicals, and and the other one we're just starting is the Coast Guard, because they have free training and equipment and all that. So we enrolled on that. So I have a crew that does that, and we've done few calls already doing our search and practices and exercises. It's good training, and I keep up with the training with my crew. And I got 36 in my fire crew, and they all have different trainings. Well, dreams are in the eyes of the beholder, I guess. And what I was trying to do is I always see if anybody can do it, I can do it. That started with my downhill skiing. I was afraid to go downhill skiing as a young guy or even an old guy now. But I saw somebody older, a 73-year-old lady came down and said, I've been skiing for 30 years. Why aren't you? And he said, I am. And I stood up and I went there and I went downhill skiing. So I admire people that challenge me and do it. You got to challenge yourself some things, and capable of doing it. And if you're interested, you're interested. If not, you're at your resume. And when you have your resume, you got all these qualifications and certifications. That's going to help you in the long run, And that's how I started. If somebody else can do it, I can do it.